The seventh piece of Musica, ricercata looks like a very common piece, a single melody with a normal accompaniment. But in fact, it is a quite interesting and original piece. First of all, because the melody and the accompaniment don't play synchrone. If they would play synchrone, we would hear something like we would have then the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 from the melody against the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the accompaniment. Well, it would be a quite interesting polyrhythm, not surprising from Ligeti. And certainly he would not be the kind of person to have composed a 3 against 6. That would be much too banal for him. So the composer who 30 years later will compose such complex polyrhythms prefers, of course, 3 against 7. But even what is more interesting for him is having a 7 completely independent with the left hand with its own speed, with an independent 3 with the right hand, a melody at another tempo that seems to have no contact at all with the accompaniment. So it seems to us, I think, as listeners, that we have really 2 layers of time that are completely independent. And more than that, we have also 2 completely different characters. It is not that the accompaniment reflects somewhere the feeling or the atmosphere that is described by the main melody. Here we have a kind of completely mechanical accompaniment and a very expressive human melody. And even it seems that this melody is sung in a real world, close to us, when the accompaniment is played at a distance, in another part of the space, like a background. So even during the 50s, we see that Ligeti is interested in a 3-dimensional space, in having really on stage, let's say, a background and a foreground. But more than that, every time that we shall hear this melody, it will be repeated a certain amount of time, we'll hear it, seems to us, at a different place in the space. A little more real, maybe, when we hear it sung by 2 voices, completely synchrone, completely parallel. But then later on, the voices imitate themselves. Well, the second one imitates the first one. We have a canon. And they sing louder and they sing in a higher register so that the feeling for the listener will be to have both voices closer. Etc. Later on, three voices, the two first, and the third one imitating. Later on, only two voices, but a little at a distance. Maybe at a distance in the memory, if this is a melody of his childhood, and even quite far away at the end, when we hear the melody very high at a place where the piano doesn't have dampers anymore for stopping the sound at the end, so that the sound resonates and it seems that the sound is further away. So there is a game of time between the two layers, the melody and its accompaniment. There is a game of space, of distance between them. And there is a game of space in the melody itself, because it seems that it moves in the space during the entire piece. And we see that even with a very simple basic material, Ligeti is always already interested in other dimensions in music that he will develop very much from the 60s, when he will be in contact with the Western avant-gardes.